In Tarkov, a lot of fights happen in or around buildings. They provide cover and the highest value loot, so movement naturally funnels into them. Fighting in this scenario calls for a particular approach. You need to control angles, clear sectors, and move with discipline. That's what close quarters battle is about, a set of principles for operating efficiently in confined spaces. I'm Vanator. I spent years in real-world combat environments, and I've been playing Escape from Tarkov for a few months. In this video, I'll break down how to bring real CQB principles into the game. When applied correctly, CQB turns chaotic indoor fights into something manageable. You move smarter, expose less of yourself, and increase your chances of taking control of the fight before the enemy can react. Let's get into it. Speed in CQB means moving fast enough to dominate the space, but slow enough to process threats. You enter with intent, clear your sector, and keep momentum without overrunning your awareness. Hesitation gives the enemy time to react. Rushing gets you killed. Balance is the key here. Surprise is achieved by controlling noise, movement, and timing. That includes going quiet before contact, sneaking instead of running, rotating through unexpected paths, and never falling into predictable patterns. Unpredictability is a weapon. Once you commit, you go all in. You clear your angle, engage without hesitation, and impose control immediately. It's not about chaos, it's about decisive action. You don't stop in doorways, you don't pause to second guess. You enter with purpose, finish the fight fast, and take control of the room. The Fatal Funnel is one of the most dangerous places you can stand in CQB. Doorways, hallways, stairwells, any narrow entry that limits your visibility and movement. If someone's inside watching the angle, you'll likely be dead before you can react. The best way to deal with the funnel is by slicing the pie. Slicing the pie means clearing the room from outside, working the angle in small increments, like cutting a pie into slices. You expose one sector of the room at a time without stepping into the open. In game, you can slice at a steady pace, leaning as you strafe to minimize exposure. Or go more aggressive, quick lean and snap to target. That's especially useful if you got a sound cue. If you know where the threat is, you compress the angle and push. Also, quick picking to gather intel or draw enemy fire is surprisingly effective in this game and worth considering tactically. Though I never advise it outside of a simulation. Whatever approach you choose, always keep this in mind. You need to be able to engage your target without exposing yourself too much. Don't peek wide. Don't give them more than you need to. After working the funnel, room clearing begins. This phase is about dominance through controlled angles, discipline, and economy of movement. Clear the room one sector at a time. Maintain your angles and treat every blind spot as a threat until verified. Move with purpose and always be ready to engage. The level of caution you apply depends on the context. If you're in a hot zone or you picked up any indicators like footsteps, open doors, or dead bodies, you slow down and clear with precision. If the room is low risk, you may increase your tempo. Raids are timed. Adjust your pace without compromising fundamentals. Inside or around structures, always work for cover. Hug walls and solid objects whenever possible. This narrows your exposure, protects your flanks, and gives you more control of the engagement geometry. Moving between rooms isn't just transit, It's part of the fight. Every transition exposes you to new angles, and how you manage that exposure defines your chances of getting to the next position intact. Before you move, take a second to identify your next point of control. Know where you're headed and what angles you expose along the way. This doesn't have to be slow, it just has to be deliberate. Passing an unclear doorway or crossing an open hallway carries risk. You won't always have time to fully clear every space, but you can move in a way that minimizes what you expose and how long you're exposed. When playing solo, you're covering all the angles yourself. That demands tighter movement and better positioning. In a team, divide sectors and maintain spacing. Once you establish yourself inside a structure, your focus often shifts, whether you're reloading, repacking mags, or trading injuries. But operational awareness doesn't stop. Just because your weapon isn't up doesn't mean you're not in combat. While conducting tasks inside a building, maintain situational awareness. Monitor auditory cues. Keep eyes on likely avenues of approach, stairwells, hallways, entry points. You must remain posture ready to reorient and respond without delay. Upon detecting movement, immediately re-establish a defensive posture. Seek hard cover, establish a dominant angle on the approach route, and avoid exposure in open rooms. Work from the edges, door frames, corners, anything that provides cover and control. Sound discipline is critical. Limit unnecessary movement, reduce signature, and allow the environment to feed you information. Footsteps, gunfire, opening doors. Each one is valuable intel if you're paying attention. If enemy presence is suspected inside the structure, re-clear as needed. Never assume an area is secure because you passed through it. Reacquire angles, recheck blind spots, and reassert control using the same structure as initial entry. Now that you're in a defensive position, use the environment to your advantage. Fatal funnels like doorways, hallways, and corners are natural choke points. Set your field of fire where the enemy must pass through, and try to fight them in your engagement zone. And keep in mind, every shot fired changes the operational picture. It broadcasts your position and can draw additional contacts. Reassess, reposition, and restore control. Holding a structure isn't about waiting, it's about shaping the environment and staying ahead of the fight. Close quarters battle is about control. Every room, every doorway is either yours or it's contested. When you clear with purpose, hold from strong positions, and react with structure, you don't leave your survival to chance. You shape the engagement before it happens. It's not about speed, it's about aggression. It's about making deliberate choices under pressure and owning every angle you expose. CQB is calculated violence, applied with discipline. That's how you take ground and keep it. If this video helped you look at the game differently or gave you something to think about for your next raid, let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching. Stay sharp, and I'll see you in the next one.